Hi everyone, my name is Whitney and welcome to my channel, Wild Heart Warrior. So today we're going to talk about heart talks, what they are and how to have them. But before we get started, I just want to remind you that if you like the content, if you like what you see on my channel, please hit the subscribe button. It would mean a lot to me. So today we're going to talk about heart talks. And heart talks are one of the activities that's really important to create heart coherence. And in a past video, I talked about heart breathing, and I'll link the video below. And the other part is heart hugs, which I will do in a future video. But all of these activities are part of something that comes from the HeartMath Institute, which I will also post below, that talks about ways that we can create heart coherence, which leads to a lot of health benefits, mentally, physically, and emotionally. So today we're specifically going to talk about heart talks, which is pretty simple. It's a type of conversation that we can have, and I will lead you through it. But the first thing is that these types of conversations are really important for a couple of reasons. One of them is for conflict resolution. So with a partner, with a friend, with coworkers, in any kind of situation where we need to resolve conflict, this is an excellent way to do it in a way that can sort of minimize any more tension or any more hurt. It's also useful for expressing boundaries in a relationship, expressing hurt emotions, hurt feelings, or anytime where our needs are not getting met in any type of relationship. But I've also found that this is a really fun conversation to have or process to go through in learning situations, in exploring. So it's a good way to explore our own feelings, that sometimes speaking it out loud, processing it with somebody else, knowing that we're going to be heard and listened to carefully, which is an important part of a heart talk, is a good way to kind of get to know ourselves more and our own emotional processes a little bit better. So this is something I've used with my students, I've used it with roommates, I've used it with friends, and I've done it when there's something specific that we know we want to talk about and address together, but I've also done it when just because, well, let's see what happens, let's see what comes up for us. And I just want to mention also that this is something obviously that's really nice to do in person, to sit face to face, look at each other in the eye, and do this heart talk, but it's also possible to do it virtually, and I've had really good success doing that on Skype, or on Zoom you could do this. So it's something that we can do now, even if we're far away or we're maybe not supposed to be close to other people, or if you're far away from loved ones that you want to talk to, you can still do this virtually. So how to have a heart talk. So the first thing that I would say is important is to find a comfortable place to sit with the person or people that you're going to have the heart talk with. So, in my classes, I like to sit in a circle on the floor or sit at a table. But if you're doing one-on-one, make sure that you're sitting in front of each other. If you're in a group, make sure you're sitting in a circle so that everybody can see everybody well. Another part is that you need some type of object that will be the heart in the conversation. But it can be anything. Like I have a little felted heart that a friend made for me, but you can use something like a pen. It really doesn't matter, or a ball or whatever it is. But something that you can pass around the circle or pass back and forth. So the first rule of the heart talk is that only the person who has the heart is going to speak. Everybody else is going to listen. And the person who's speaking is going to focus on how they feel. So starting what they're saying with things like, I feel this way because of this. So we're not going to focus on necessarily actions or, well, you did this or this happened. We're going to focus on, I feel this way because of this. So focusing on our own emotions, our own processes, and what's coming up for us in this moment or because of what's happening in this context. That's really important because we want to be really connected to our heart the whole time, especially if we're doing conflict resolution, or especially if we're feeling tension with the other person, or we want to basically make sure that we're not creating more tension through language that is accusatory or blaming or something like this. We want to focus on how we're feeling. I feel hurt when you say this, or I feel really unsure about what you feel, or things like this, but we want to focus on how we feel. So for the person who is listening, it's really important to also listen with your heart. So this is where heart breathing can come in really handy. So sometimes when we're having a conversation, we focus on what we're going to say next. And sometimes we stop listening really to what the other person is saying to us, and really taking that in and understanding what they're sharing with us, and really respecting that space, holding space for them to process those emotions, to get it out, and not take it personally. So it's hard sometimes, especially, again, if it's conflict resolution, you feel like you've done something wrong, you might start focusing on how that makes you feel, or how it wasn't like that, and you need to say that it wasn't like that and correct them because they're wrong about it. But instead of that, you're not going to say anything. You're just going to look at them in the eyes, and you're going to listen. And if it's difficult for you to do that, come back to your heart breathing, which is breathing in and out through your heart, putting your mind's eye into your heart and kind of grounding yourself in that, and knowing that you can hold space for them with your heart open, and you'll get a chance to explain how you feel. But just being able to hold space for them with your heart open is really important. Another part about the heart talk is that you don't have to share if you don't want to. It's okay if you don't want to. Of course, if you're having a conversation for a specific purpose and you're doing it one-on-one and somebody's like, I don't want to do it, then maybe come back to it another time. If you're in a group setting, maybe you don't have anything to share. Maybe it's something that you're not ready to share yet, so you can just pass it on, and that's okay. If you're in a circle and somebody didn't share, you can always pass it around a second time, a third time. Do it until everybody feels complete. So that's really important, that people don't feel pressured to share. It's not necessary. Like, the whole point of this is to really be connected to each other's hearts and know that the way that they're showing up in this moment is perfect. So those are the rules for heart talk. Pretty simple, right? What I've found in this process is that we can learn a lot about ourselves, about other people, and just find this really beautiful space where it's okay to be vulnerable. Last week I talked a little bit about vulnerability and the importance of it. Well, when it seems scary, a heart talk is a really safe space to create that vulnerability and to open up the space for other people to feel that and express themselves. I also find that this is really important when you're talking to people who maybe have very different beliefs than you, or views than you, or difficult conversations. So right now, I think it's important that we're all having difficult conversations. So I wanted to share this tip, and I encourage everybody to try a heart talk this week, just because, or if there's something that you feel like you really need to talk to somebody about, then try it with a heart talk. Try pushing yourself out of your comfort zone by having a talk that you maybe don't feel comfortable having, but do a heart talk and see how it goes. I would love to hear how this goes for you. Share in the comments any experiences that you have had in the past with heart talks, or if you do take this advice and try a heart talk, let me know how it goes for you. I would love to hear about it, and I hope you have a great week.